All right, we jump in early today. Since I don't like the rest of the intro, I gotta change that eventually. So welcome everybody. Moin moin. As you can tell, stream today is in English again. Welcome everybody who is here for the very first time. My name is Jonas. I've been streaming now for the last couple of months, and I'm honored to stream for our little German NFT community the last couple of weeks. And yeah, we already had very great guests here. Riot Racers, House of Kiba, Moment Ranks. And today we go all in, basically, pun intended, and have Roy here as a guest, which I will bring on in a minute. Before we get started with the interview with Roy, aka Seneca, I want to get a few things straight. So my name is Jonas, like I said. I do the stream every twice or 2 or 3 times a month. Depends on if I find exciting guests for everybody or not. We are, like I said, the NFT Zoo. We have a little community, which I post in the chat for everybody who wants to join. I warn you, it's German. So for every English speaker out there, if you want to learn German or test your German, feel free to join. And I just sent a link. Other than that, there's not much to say. Leave a follow here. I would highly appreciate it. It helps me a little bit, keep the channel growing. Get some traction for our channel, for our NFT Zoo community. And you can also follow me on Twitter, which is this link I also sent in here. Let's get the chat going a little bit. Is everybody here? I see a few famous people of our community already. But I wouldn't wait any longer. I would bring him on, and I'm very honored to welcome Roy to the stream. Hey, Roy, how are you doing?
Very well, very well. How are you?
I'm good. So thank you so much, first of all. I mean, it's an honor to have you on. Seriously, for our little community here. So I really appreciate you taking the time out of your what I assume is a pretty busy day.
It is, but I'm happy to be here.
Thanks. So yeah, well, first of all, I mean, how are you? How's life? How's life in Munich, especially?
It's great. I mean, I don't go outside that much anymore. Obviously, it's all inside on the computer doing things. But no, life here is good. You know, it's cold, it's wet, it's Munich in winter, I guess, or
It's
almost
Germany.
winter. Yeah, it's Germany, but no, life's good.
Awesome. Are you like? Well, you said you don't go out much, so I assume. Did you try out some local beer yet? Are you a beer drinker?
I don't drink actually, but like a couple
Okay.
years ago when we first got here, I was drinking a little bit, and then I had some of the local beer then, and we went to Oktoberfest in 2019, I guess, last time they had it, and that was crazy and fun and all that. But then obviously it's been cancelled the last 2 years because COVID, and yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. I actually, as a German, I've never been to Oktoberfest, which is kind of sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just not the Oktoberfest guy. But so anyway, I mean, thanks again for joining. I mean, I prepared a few questions. I got a few inputs from our community. As I told you before, we are like 500 people now, and boy, they were excited when I announced you you were coming on. So they definitely appreciate that. And yeah, I now and then I go through the chat and I add some message here when I see something fun. So people obviously are surprised you're from Munich, but you are not from Munich. To state that correctly.
From Australia, but
Australia.
living in Munich. Yeah.
Where exactly from Australia you are?
Brisbane mostly.
Oh, okay, sweet. Yeah. Also haven't been to Australia, unfortunately. I would love to go, but COVID also makes it tough.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, let's talk a little bit about your exciting life, I guess. We chatted a bit previously. You told me that basically you've been doing this full time now, the NFT, since February.
Yeah, pretty much. February is when I first started getting interested with crypto and NFT again. March, April was, I was still 1 foot in the poker door, 1 foot doing crypto. But then, probably around April is when it just started being all of my attention and focus went to crypto. And then maybe May to start of June is when it was 100% NFTs. But I was still like dabbling with some other crypto stuff early on.
Okay, nice. So how can we imagine how does a typical Seneca Royal day look like? You told me you work at night mostly, right?
Yes, so I usually stay awake till 7 a.m. or so here because so much happens on US time zones. Is like, late night US, especially when I was like taking part in drops and stuff. A lot of the drops would happen, early morning in
Yeah.
Germany or in Europe, and then after the drop, if you had to follow to list on secondary market, check rarities, you want to be around for a few hours after it drops. And then it just happened that I was awake till 6, 7 a.m. And then it's sort of just I've stayed in that routine partially because I was still getting some drops, but also because just more people take meetings after around this time, and it's just easier and more flexible to work with other time zones. Yeah, so what a traditional day looks like, it's lately it's been really crazy. It's wake up, check my phone, and just look to see if there are any emergencies. Just like anyone, like any of my Discord, if anyone's saying, this needs to be looked at right away,
Yeah.
just quickly scan my, Discord messages, DMs, Twitter, WhatsApp, anywhere that I'm getting, and then like that's like the first few minutes, and then it'll be like then I'll start going through them. Like if there's nothing urgent, then I'll go through them, just try to catch up because you sleep for 8 hours, you miss so much in this space.
It's
Like I'll wake
incredible.
up to 30 messages on an even day, and then so the first hour is just catching up, and then make coffee and just keep catching up, and then it's just there's always stuff to do. Like I'm not really buying or selling NFTs at the moment, but it's like with my community and my project, it's reaching out to people. Just it's a lot of answering. Just like people ask me questions, people come to me for advice. They want to, my opinion on stuff, and it's just back and forth answering, weighing in on things, and and then occasionally it's trying to do more exciting things like partner and collab with other projects and figure out things that we can do in the future.
Cool.
Yeah, all sorts of
That's
stuff. But
that's exciting. Yeah, I mean, being from Germany, I also had like crazy night sessions where I was awake for some Top Shot drops or whatever, and when I started. So it's not so easy in being in Europe and being active in the space. So I'm glad you figured that out. It sounds like a nice schedule you have. Before we speak about NFTs, maybe I want to quickly get you a little bit like from your poker history, right? So I know you talked in your latest podcast of Two Bored Apes. I listened to it obviously, and I know you told a little bit of your story about the poker story and how you got into it in I think 2004 or something. You said.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And maybe just for the people out there, can you talk a little bit about what you were doing before NFTs?
So basically, prior to the start of this year, for about 15 years, I was a professional poker player. So went from high school I started playing in my final year of high school, and then just with friends, and then threw some money online, and it was sort of around 2004, 2005 when poker was booming everywhere. It was on TV. Everyone was talking about it. And the games were good. I was able to make money because there was just tons of money flowing around. It's not that dissimilar to like the crypto NFT space right now. There's just tons of money flowing around and opportunities. But and then I was just like, I didn't find university interesting, of course, because poker was way more fun and exciting and fascinating and profitable. So I said, let me take 6 months off and, go, I can travel, I can play poker and see where it leads. And then I just basically never actually truly went back, minus a couple of brief stints. And then, it was mostly online poker, but I would play in the occasional tournament, in Vegas, in Crown Casino in Melbourne, and then, random places here and there. But 95% was online still, and that was just life for like 10 to 15 years. It was, again, the lifestyle is not that different to the crypto and NFT lifestyle, and so the transition was easy because you work from home, you work in front of the computer, it's all online, it's a lot to do with money and numbers and people, and it's the skill sets, while not directly transferable, like the domain knowledge isn't transferable, but like the psychology and all of that is, I think there's a lot of similarities. So I think definitely helps. And you see that there are a lot of professional poker players or ex-professional poker players in the crypto space now, in the NFT space. So I don't think it's a coincidence.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Like I play poker now and then with some friends for like $10, but that's basically it. So what would have happened if you wouldn't be a professional poker player? Was there? I mean, that obviously wasn't the plan, right? So was there anything?
Yeah, no, I was gonna probably be a lawyer. Like
Oh,
I was
nice.
doing a commerce / law degree initially, and then obviously hating that, and then in my late 20s, early, like 3 years ago, let's say, I actually went back to law school because I was like, poker had been, I've been doing it for so long. I really wasn't that passionate about it, and I wanted something else. I didn't really have a direction. I was like, I find it interesting and all that kind of stuff. So I went back to study law, and then the first 6 to 12 months was very interesting, fascinating. And then it got into like the boring part of law and all the contracts and and it got boring and difficult. And like everyone said, it's going to get boring and difficult, but I was like, yeah, but I'm finding it fun and interesting. And then it got to a certain point, and I was like, yeah, nah, back to poker. So
Nice.
yeah.
So, well, you kind of foreshadowed, but what eventually made you quit? Like, you just wanted something else in your life?
Quit poker or
Yeah, quit poker. Yeah. Sorry.
it wasn't really a conscious decision. It was just that towards the start of this year, crypto was going crazy, NFTs were on the scene, and I saw what was happening, and I was like, I just want to pay more attention to this, and then just sort of like over time, it became. I guess I started making a little bit of money, and like I was just way more excited by it. Like poker was a grind after 15 years. It was like I don't get excited to sit down and play every single day. Whereas with crypto and NFTs, it was exciting to learn. It was exciting to do anything in this space. It still is exciting. Like it probably will be for a long time still, I think, for me at least.
Yeah, I bet it will. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
there's
we're
so
still
much you can do.
Yeah, seriously. I feel like I am personally, I'm just at the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah,
So it's
feel
fun.
the same.
Well, you were a little bit deeper in the iceberg, I
A
guess.
little bit, but the iceberg's like this big. Like,
I know.
we're both still right at the tip.
Yeah, true.
It's
True.
awesome.
So, last question for poker. What's your like favorite memory when you think of your 15 years of poker? I know that's probably kind of hard.
That
But
is
is there
hard.
one thing standing out?
Probably not one thing standing out. I would say my favorite times in poker were like hanging out with my poker friends
Yeah.
and just not even necessarily doing anything poker related. Maybe we were playing some fun poker games with one another, but just just hanging out with the friends. I think like there are some moments that were like awesome, and some like trips that I went to. They may have been poker trips, but I can't even really remember any of the poker that got played. But it was like meals we had or the games that we played or whatever we did, and that kind of stuff that stands out, and that's what I remember.
It's funny, right? How, I mean, it's the same in NFT. The community part is so much fun that
Exactly. Yeah.
it stands out quite a bit.
I can't even remember half the NFTs I've bought or sold. It's already, and it's only been a few months, even though it feels like a few years. But yeah, I bet in 3 years I won't be able to remember 5% of the NFTs I bought in 2021, for instance.
Probably not. I check your wallet now and then, so probably not.
There's too many.
There's too many. So we got one question here. I mean, I can also answer it. You told me in the story. I think you moved to Munich because your fiance is working there, right?
Yes. So she got a job offer. Basically, one of her old bosses moved over here from Australia, and then he was like, there's a job here if you want it. You want to come over, and then eventually we were like, it wasn't that long after we started dating. Actually, it's just a few months, but we were like, hey, why not? It's crazy. Let's adventure. Let's go live in another country. We can travel, and I've always wanted to live somewhere else and travel Europe. She had never actually been to Europe, so it was like a huge jump and leap and just adventure. But yeah, I mean that's why. And obviously, I was playing online poker. I could do the same thing, more or less here. I guess I was playing some live poker in Brisbane, but the option was there for me to play online, so it wasn't that different. Yeah.
I mean, it's far away. Like we are far away from.
It Australia. Is far away, yeah.
So it's definitely a big move.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, then let's rewind a little bit. Rewind to like January 2021, right? Or February. Like, how did you end up here? Like, what was there one evening you just sat down and you saw NFT dropping and you were, hey, I just go for it? Or how did it all get started? Do you remember?
No, not quite. So one of the poker sites, or the main poker site that I was playing on, the currency was Bitcoin. So even for the last couple of years, even though I wasn't like in the crypto space, I would still have to convert my Bitcoin to Australian dollars or to euros, just because that's what I was earning. And just as time went on, end of 2020 and start 2021, just I could see the price of Bitcoin going up and up and up. And I was like, obviously earning more because I was earning in Bitcoin. I was like, hey, this is really cool, but maybe I should pay a bit more attention to crypto. And just generally more people were talking about crypto again because the bear market was ending and it was starting to get interesting for many people. And so one of my really good friend and co-host of Two Bored Apes, Jamie, he similar boat. We both got into crypto in 2016, 2017, and then kind of forgot about it during the bear market. But he rather had a friend who is now a mutual friend of ours who had kind of stayed in the space the whole time. And he was sort of telling Jamie about NFTs a little bit, hash masks, CryptoPunks. And Jamie was reading a little bit about them and like passing tidbits of information on to me. And I didn't really take it seriously, but it was like I was starting to become aware of it. And then I read this article by Packy McCormick, Power to the Person on the Not Boring Substack, and it was all about the creator economy and NFTs, and like that's when I really like understood it, and I was like, hey, there's actually something cool here. There's something more than just expensive JPEGs and scams and whatever else you think of when you first see NFTs. And then I was like, hey, I want to get interested. I want to get involved. I'm interested. I'd like to invest a little bit of, like, I had some Ether, and I was like, I want to put some of that into NFTs. I didn't know what obviously to start with or where to start, but they were talking about CryptoPunks. And I was like, well, I can't afford a CryptoPunk because I don't know what they were at the time, 15 ETH, maybe 20 ETH or something. But I was, our mutual friend told us that there's this Punks token, which is basically like I don't know exactly how it works, but I presume that they like fractionalize a punk, and it's like you can buy the token and get exposure to it. And so I was like, all right, cool. Let me buy like a few percent of that. I think a CryptoPunk at the time was worth 120,000 US. So maybe they were like 40 ETH. Yeah. Anyway, and then I was like, all right, how do I buy this token? And he's like, oh, it's easy. You just put ETH into MetaMask, go to SushiSwap, find the token pair, and I didn't know what SushiSwap was. I didn't know what MetaMask was. I barely knew what a token was. And so like sometimes I think about that and realize just how steep the learning curve is and how much handholding someone new to the space actually needs. Because, you know, if we've been in the space for 6 months, 3 months, even 10 months, it's just sort of second. It's just second nature to use MetaMask and to pay for something with MetaMask. It makes sense. You pay the gas, you understand it. But when you're brand new, it doesn't make sense. It's all so foreign. And anyway, yeah, I did that, and then it was just more and more time like getting involved and finding out about new projects, and it, you know, it was difficult to find projects, and like I had no idea where to begin, and I would just generally find out through other friends, and I'd research them, and I had no idea what to look for, and definitely bought into some bad things. Just randomly browsed OpenSea and bought some junky stuff, and you know, back then, probably even now, the best experience is by doing it, but it's like it costs. You can't really get that experience without losing effectively hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And yeah, I mean, I definitely did. And then, but it's you know, it's so addictive. Once you buy an NFT, it's like crazy. It's so cool to have an NFT and own it, and then you just want more, and you research more, and you get, you know, down the rabbit hole deeper and deeper. And yeah, I'm still digging that rabbit hole.
Well, yeah, you already dug quite deep, I would say. Yeah, but it's true. I mean, it's just crazy. I think you recognize how deep we are into this when you talk to people outside of it and try to explain like how do you set up a MetaMask, and I don't know what's a gas fee, and it's just then you really recognize, okay, what I've been learning the last 6-7 months, or we've been doing this. Yeah. So definitely exciting times. Okay, well, that's nice. Do you remember your first NFT you bought? Do you just
there's a few that are competing. What I thought was my first, I don't think is, because if you saw OpenSea by like oldest NFTs, it actually goes by oldest created, not oldest that you bought. So if I think back, I think it was a rare pizza potentially. So it was this project, they wanted to launch 10,000 pizzas like in celebration of Bitcoin Pizza Day. Like I think it's May 22nd or something, the day when that guy 10 years ago or whatever bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. It's now a thing. And I was like, hey, this seems cool and interesting. But they did like a bonding curve or like a FOMO ramp type thing where the price went up per mint, and it just obviously didn't work. And I think that might have been my first. It might have been an Art Blocks, although no, Art Blocks came later. and it might have been this thing, AI art, and they had this on OpenSea, just on the front page. It was this AI art house project, and they had AI art, and I was like, hey, this is really cool and interesting. And I bought a couple pieces, and they didn't really do very well, but now some AI art stuff is doing really, really well. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Well, I never heard of the crazy pizzas, but they sound fun.
Yeah.
And they obviously didn't succeed right well. Speaking
I
of
don't think
success,
so,
I
but
mean,
every now and then I see someone who says like it's in their Twitter profile or something that they're still involved. They have like created a DAO
okay,
now. I should definitely check in and see what they're doing, but yeah.
I will definitely check them later.
Yeah.
How do you call it?
I
Crazy
wonder if they're
pizza? You
even
said?
worth something.
Yeah.
Rare pizza.
Rare
RARE.
pizza. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of success, I mean, you took off quite quickly on Twitter also. I mean, you obviously you share your thoughts quite well and in a very interesting and exciting way, in my opinion. I've been following you for the last couple of months, and I mean the follower count is just rising and rising. So it's definitely a success there. So I would ask, like, why do you think you had so much success? What made you successful? Is it the way you approach the stuff? Is it like just maybe some luck? Is it what would you say?
I think to begin with, it was like the first 1,000, 2,000 was just by buying Bored Ape. Just immediately gets you, a ton of followers, and like it's not random followers; it's people that are in the space, and so there's real power and value to that. And it's a lot easier to go from 2,000 followers to 100,000 followers than to get from 0 to 100,000, or from like to get 0 to 2,000 is often the hardest part. So that certainly helped. And now, like, obviously you don't need to buy a Bored Ape to do it. You can buy any avatar profile picture, and those communities will follow each other, and you can start from there and we'll do all of that. But I think what really helped was just the fact that I was providing content that the community found valuable. So it was initially, I think my newsletter got me a few follows and that kind of stuff. But when I started doing the daily stats for the floor charts and prices, that's when things just really started rocketing up, and like everyone was looking at them and loving them. And then I was doing every single day, everyone was retweeting it and sharing it, and like it became almost the case where anyone new to the NFT space would just find out about it and then follow me. And then it was just, I think the rate at which my Twitter account has blown up is sort of indicative of how much the entire space has blown up. Because when I first got in, when I set up my Twitter account in I think it was March, like the quote unquote big influencers had 20,000 followers, 30,000. Maybe the biggest had 40,000, Franksy or whoever it was at the time. And then like everyone has just obviously exploded as the space has exploded. And but yeah, I would say I put it down pretty specifically to my daily stats, but also the fact that I provide other content and value that people like and appreciate. Which helps. And I think that's the best way to get a good Twitter following is find something that's valuable to the community and just put it out there, and then just keep doing it. And
yeah, I've been trying with the stream. No, but in all seriousness, your daily updates, they're basically almost daily in our Discord in the NFT Zoo. How long does it take you to do that, or is that just automatic?
It's automatic now. I got it automated about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago now. Prior to that, it was manual, and it would take me an hour up to 2 hours a day. Only towards the end, because there were so many projects. Back when I first started, obviously there was 8 projects. There was like Bored Apes, Gutter Cats, Camels, Punks, Hash Masks, Avastar, and it just took a few minutes. But then as time went on, more projects got added. It got to 50, 100. I think even at around the 100 mark, I was still okay doing it manually. I could crank it out in 30 to 40 minutes. But then once I had to split it into 2 sheets, and like older and newer, and now there's like 200 projects, it got to the point where it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it wasn't like fun work anymore. Like to begin with, it was fun checking the floors. Sometimes I'd see something way underfloor and like want to, sometimes I'd buy it because I think it was a good buy. But I definitely felt like I had a closer connection to the market and what was happening. But yeah, once it got to like where it is now, the number of projects, it was just a case of I just can't. Yeah, so automated now, it'll take me like just however long it takes me to write the thread, basically, and to look
Okay.
at the stats, and I'll take a few minutes looking through them, and then yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So I
So
thought I'd
let's say 15 minutes a day. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's highly valuable in my opinion. I usually look at the red ones to see where I can maybe get a good deal, because obviously if it's all
Yeah.
green, then it's not a good point to get in.
Yeah. No, I do that too.
So it's definitely worth looking at for everybody who hasn't checked it out. It's on Roy's on Seneca's Twitter, and yeah, I mean it's 3 pages now, right? It's crazy.
Yeah. There's this little one as well, but I really like the charts on the right. That Ali,
Absolutely, yeah.
the guy who's automating it, he just added that sort of on his own, and it was a trial thing, and it's really good to get a snapshot of just what the market has been doing over the last week.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'm reading through the chat, but we have one question. I also have that question a little bit later. So we don't go into that yet. Cool. Let's see. What else do I have? Nice. Yeah, I mean, what's an interesting topic also in our Discord, with this whole, like, we are all in this crazy rabbit hole where we are basically spend all days in Discords. We buy and sell. Well, these days not so much, but we lose money, like you said. I also, or everybody has to lose money in the beginning, I think, to learn certain things. But it can be really draining. I think you say in English, like
Yeah.
Yeah, training is the right word.
Yeah.
So I would be interested in, like, I mean, there's such a fine line between these huge losses in the space and these huge gains, which you can make like in a day or in a second even. And do you ever take breaks, or how do you take breaks, or do you think like even mental health is maybe underrated thing in that whole space?
I definitely think it's underrated. It's starting to get spoken about more, and people are very supportive and encouraging of one another by and large. So it's great to see. I think the space is really good on that front. Yeah, like now I don't feel it nearly as much because I'm not like trading on it. Like I'm not buying and selling it and following the market. I'm basically primarily almost exclusively focused on creating content and working with my communities. Which, I just feel a lot better. I feel less stressed. Even though I'm working more, it feels less stressed to me because everything is sort of in my control. Whereas before, when I was trading on a frequently basis and doing things on the short term, it was a case of, you can do what quote unquote is the right thing to do all the time and still just lose tons of money, or you can like sell for a small profit, but if you held, it went up 10x and you could have made way more profit. And yeah, like even after it was definitely a struggle early on. And like, this is coming from a poker background as well, where I'm already used to dealing with the psychology of making and losing money on paper or in reality a lot. So even with that experience, there were some moments where it was difficult, and I never really got too sort of taken down by it. Like maybe like for 12 hours, maybe if I slept on it, like then I would get over it. But there were certainly some days where I was like feeling very bad about myself for whatever decisions or results. As time went on and as I found more success in the space, it got easier to deal with, obviously, as that tends to happen. But it never went away. Like even like 2 weeks ago, maybe I was feeling very irrationally, but like maybe a month ago, I was thinking about buying Sandbox land, and then the Facebook meta news came out, and Sandbox, everything prices went up, and I was like, oh, should have bought it. Like, why didn't I buy it earlier? And like in the grand scheme of things, it's like relatively insignificant. The money that I would have made or ended up not making or losing by buying later on, but there was still like 20 minutes where I was feeling shitty, I guess, about the whole situation. And yeah, so it affects everyone, but and I did get burnt out. Like it was 16 hours a day of just like constantly buying, flipping, getting on whitelist, following mints, following the secondary price market, and then listing things for sale, and then doing it again, and then thinking about what you miss when you sleep. And then yeah, like basically, fortunately, we had a couple of holidays lined up, but I needed them because after say a couple of months or even a month in the last case, it was like, yeah, I'm just burnt out. I can't do it anymore. Also, as your NFT portfolio builds up, as you get more NFTs and more projects, it just takes more brain power to like stay on top of them all, to know, hey, what's happening in that project that you're in? Is there something you need to claim or an airdrop, or is there some news? Should you sell? Like the more NFTs you get, I think that people should. I mean, I tried to keep doing it, like trim down my portfolio just to focus on a few, but it obviously got spiraled out of control, and I think that also leads to sort of just burnout. So yeah, long story short, yes, I did need breaks, and then that was also a big part of the reason that I wanted to shift more towards content and community stuff and not flipping.
Yeah, it's, I think, much more healthier. I'm glad that you feel that way with all your success.
Everyone does, yeah.
Yeah, because we all have that one, I don't know, that one buy or sell where we feel like horrible afterwards. So
yeah,
I definitely, like, I don't know about you, but I do sports a lot. That's how I relax a little bit.
it's a good approach.
You don't really touch your phone at all. Just go play some ball or something. So definitely an important topic in my opinion. We also have a mental health challenge in our Discord. Actually,
nice.
Every now and then somebody asks, like, "Hey, how is everybody doing?" And then so it's quite nice. I think it's important that you step aside sometimes or take a break. I mean, taking a break is maybe a good segue to the next question. Current beer market. I mean, it has been slow. Ethereum has been rising, obviously, which is also, I mean, good for all of us, I guess, for
kind of
Ethereum-based people. But NFTs
it is a good thing in the grand scheme of things. It's a good thing.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, in the grand scheme. But what's your strategy like during these days when like NFTs are really going down? I mean, there were a couple of days where your sheet was all red, basically. For
pretty much, yeah.
Most of the projects.
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically, again, not really doing much buying or selling, but if I was, I would probably be wanting to buy during these bearish times. Because that's when you want to buy. You want to buy when everyone else is selling, basically, and when prices are down. But it is a bit scary to consider, like, what if this is a real bear market and goes on for a very long time? I would tend to avoid the newer projects and the lower priced ones, just because, like, especially just because like blue chips are just safer and they have way more like brand power, network effect. There's more holders and they're more established and they've just done more and been around for longer, so they're safer. But for like the lower priced ones, it's just like gas at the moment is so high that it's very difficult for any project with a floor of under, say, 0.1, or especially under 0.05, just to gain that momentum, because anyone that's buying has to pay 50% of the price in gas, if not more, and it really stops them, and it stops like lots of people's aping in. I mean, in a true bull market, in true mania, people sort of don't care about gas, and will just go crazy. But I don't think we'll get a true bull market until gas chills. And like the last couple of days have been, obviously the Bored Apes had a bunch of great news, and then Coinbase started like announcing partnerships with all these Mechaverse, Own Force, Cool Cats, and a bunch of things, and those communities did well. Boss Beauties had their Marvel announcement. Like, tons of great news happened in the last few days, and it's definitely pumped life back into the market. But I'm a little hesitant to say that like this is the beginning of a big bull run again, because gas is still high. I think that's just a big concern.
But I mean, it's also crazy how times changed in just the last couple of months. I mean, in May or June, there was like a profile picture project happening every day, basically, and it was selling out every day. And now I feel like every mint is kind of, you have to really dig deeper into the project.
But like now I think we have like 10 a day, if not more. And so
but are they still selling out so quickly, or
no? They're not selling out now because there are so many.
Yeah,
I remember in like June, we were getting one a day, and everyone was saying, "Hey, this is too many. The market can't handle one project a day." And then now we have 10 a day or 100 a week, and yes, eventually we get to a point where the market can't deal with that anymore.
Yeah, which is a good thing. I think I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah, it's healthy.
Utility and also gaming, I think, has a nice a big future in this space. So I shifted my focus a little bit from the profile picture flipping to the utility side, which is also more fun, I guess.
I think so.
Speaking of fun, well, maybe that's a bad transaction, but let's talk a little bit about your own project, which I guess is a lot of fun for you. And it's called the Zenacademy, which is quite fitting since you educate people a lot. And
I like the name.
Good job on that. So it just started like a week ago, I think, and it's running for the next 10 days. We can mint 9 days.
Yeah, till next Tuesday, so the 20th, whatever that is, 23rd.
So do you want to talk a little bit of what it is? I think most.
Yeah, so I'll just so basically it is what I'm selling is like a membership token, so an NFT which acts as like a lifetime membership to Zenacademy, basically. And so like what is Zenacademy? Currently I have big plans and ideas for what I would like it to potentially be in the future, but currently it's basically just a Discord server that I set up maybe 4 months ago now, and I actually had big plans to create a big like a website platform with set up courses and educators and guides, but that ended up being way too much to do all at once. So yeah, I set up this Discord server, and it's just like this community formed, and people were there and like learning and helping one another, and I was in there and chatting about things and posting my opinions and advice. And yeah, the Discord grew to like 10 or 11,000 members in a few months, and then yeah, basically now I closed it off to the public and made the Discord private, just kind of to protect the Discord and to ensure the quality remained high. Because we had a couple of instances where people were getting scammed by people just joining and posting malicious links and stuff like that. And, you'll always get bots with a free and open Discord. And especially if it keeps growing, if we got to 20, 50, 100,000 members, there would just be a bigger target on Zenacademy for people trying to scam to join that. So yeah, I closed it off, and then I gave free access to everyone who had joined just for life, and then said, from now on, if you want to join, that you'll basically have to pay to be a full member. And that's where I came up with this idea. And I am selling the token at 0.033 ETH. So, $150, euros, whatever, roughly, depending on ETH price, which I think for lifetime access is quite a reasonable amount. Compared to other that's right. Compared to other like private Discords, it's a lot cheaper, but obviously maybe they're a little more exclusive and have less members. And yeah, it's open for 2 weeks, so it's sort of like anyone can mint in that time, and then the lifetime Genesis memberships will never be available for public sale again. It's possible that in the future I do say yearly memberships and stuff like that, but I would only do that in a way that the price is like it adds value to those who have the Genesis membership. So it'd be like a higher price and year caps, so then the value of the Genesis ones go up. But also on top of that, I made it so that there's like if anyone wants to join the community just to like read and not be able to post, there's like a free version. You can get read only access. You just fill out a Google form, and then one of the community managers will manually go through and set people's roles so that they can have read only access. Cool. So it's not meant to be an exclusive Discord in terms of big alpha private content. It's just like a safer community, a protected community where we try and keep the level of like communication and the quality of the content high and like friendly and valuable. And I think so far we have the community. I really love it. It's awesome. And like, it's 99% not me. It's like I set up the infrastructure, but like the people that are there, the mod team that are there, everyone is so friendly and willing to help one another. I love whenever I'm in there and spending time in there. And I want to build it into this awesome thing in the future. And, in the metaverse have like actual buildings and academies and place where people can learn, and who knows where it's going to get to, but currently just a Discord server, and I'm excited about it. Yeah, and so that's open for another 8 days, I think, 23rd. And then the other one, the 333 Club, that's sort of completely different type of thing. It's a much more expensive token, obviously 3.33 ETH, and much more exclusive. I'm capping it at 333 members, and it's basically targeted towards like not most people in the space, especially like newer people, but it's to anyone who's sort of like looking to launch their own project. So if you're working on an NFT project, if you want advice, consulting, this is probably the best way to get that from me, but also from like the other members of the group. Like it's now forming this community where people are networking and helping one another out. Like someone needed a dev, we had a dev in there, they found the dev that way, and like a couple of projects have decided to partner and collaborate with their two projects together. And so yeah, it's targeted towards those who are launching a project and want sort of my advice and want to pay that amount for it. But it's also a community where people are helping, and I hope will continue to help one another. And it's also just like there's things you can do with a community of 300 that you just can't do with 10 or 20,000 people, and it doesn't work or scale to that level. And similarly, there's things you can do with a community of 20,000 that you can't do with 300. So it's just two different price points, completely different things, but they both do fall under the Zenacademy umbrella. And that one's not it's not ending in 8 days. It's sort of open until it sells out, but it's like whitelist only. So you have to fill out an application process, and now I'm at the point where I'm basically like chatting with everyone to make sure that it's the right fit for them. If they still want to join, like if they'll get value out of it, if all of that. So that's the project.
I remember you saying on the pod that you basically texted like 150 people on Twitter and took.
I mean, I'm going through like 800 in total, something 900, and getting a little bit of help, but it's a lot of DMs.
No, I mean the Discord. I joined fairly early, I would say. I don't know when exactly. Like maybe how long was it open? You said a couple of months.
Yeah, I think in August, September. I don't know. Time is weird.
Okay. Yeah, time is so weird.
Probably find out, but I don't know.
Yeah, what I do like about Discord is like it's not so crowded as a few other Discords. I know, like you can basically go through the channels you like, and then you can catch up reading in the morning or so without having to scroll like forever, which is a good thing, I think. So you were saying that I think in the 333 club so far it's whitelist only, right? If somebody wants to get in, he basically contacts you and then you get back to him. So
pretty much, yeah.
Okay. And overall, are you happy with the launch? Did it go well, or?
Yes, I'm extremely happy with it, actually. I think like in terms of issues, it was a smooth launch. There was no like the website stayed up, the contract was fine. There was no like gas issues. No one lost money. Like a couple of people had some minor issues, but they were like trying to mint on their phone without MetaMask or something and sometimes they just had to refresh the page, but 99% of people had no issues minting. And so it was great. Nice. Yeah. And I'm very happy with like the pace with which it's selling out and all of that. Like it's just a really nice, slow and steady stream of people entering both communities.
It's nice that you have thrilled. Like 2 weeks to like get the best possible gas spot. It's
exactly no rush. And I was sort of considering earlier, like just the fact that every day there's new people finding out about it and joining and buying and minting. Like it might have been cool to just have it open for a lot longer than 2 weeks, but there will be other ways for people to join in the future, and it's nice to reward those that are early by getting these lifetime memberships at what I think are a pretty low price. And then
I agree.
Yeah.
So I haven't minted yet. I have one question I wanted to ask you before I mint. So like I said, I'm in the Discord for quite some time now. Would you recommend me still minting?
No, it's a good question. I'm actually tonight, hopefully if I have time or tomorrow, planning to write like a whole post in Discord, because there are a lot of OGs who are asking like, should I also mint the NFT, and not knowing exactly explicitly the differences are. I would recommend it, because I think that there are things that you can do to reward people who have the NFT that you just simply can't do to those who don't. And like the most basic example is using the Mobi.gg partnership we just had, where they're offering a 33% discount to anyone who has the NFT, but much lower percent discount to anyone who's not. And the way that works is that the only way they can offer a discount if you don't have the NFT is like a private affiliate link. And if we put the link out there, it's going to get shared to other communities. It's going to get, people will post it to Twitter and in their private Discords. And Mobi doesn't want to give a 33% discount to everyone in the NFT space. They want it to be exclusive to, the couple of thousand holders of the NFT. And then the only way they can do that is saying, hey, if you have the NFT in your wallet, this discount is applied. And I think going forward, when I make more partnerships and collaborations with projects, whether it's a discount or a free mint or whatever it is per se, some of those benefits will have to be restricted to NFT holders. And and I think that over time, I hope to be able to have more than 0.033 intangible value back. Like, I mean, the Mobi partnership itself is worth 0.033 if you were going to sign up to it anyway. Obviously, not everyone is interested. A small percentage will, but it's just, I'm going to keep working and trying to make more partnerships and get more deals, and especially like exclusive deals that are better for Zenacademy than anyone can find elsewhere. Like this 33%, Moby said that the highest they'll give to any other partnership is 20%, but because this was the first partnership that they made, and we had a good relationship, that they made, it was originally going to be 30% as well, but obviously 33%, 33, all in threes. As a gesture of goodwill, they went up to 33. So yeah, finding like things like that, I think they'll just generally be more value for the NFT holders. I am exploring ways to give other values just to OGs, just as a separate thing, but it's a little trickier to do just because, again, you don't have NFTs or ownership of that.
Well, did we lose you?
Which is effectively an NFT saying that you're here, but then people might start selling them or trading them if I start attaching financial value to them too much. And I got to think about it some more, but there will definitely be benefits for OGs. But I think that there will continue to be things that are for NFT holders that OGs won't be able to get.
Yeah, I think it's a good point you said, actually, a little bit earlier, like 0.03 is like, you have to think how long will it take in your project until you get that value back, which probably will be fairly quickly.
I think so.
If you don't overspend on gas.
Yeah.
So I think I got a mint. I had planned to mint. Probably it's better in the morning for Germany, as you also know.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it. I mean, I will definitely keep following it. Exciting to stay in the Discord and also learn. I mean, you learn so much in this Discord. It's just crazy how they're very valuable people in there. So I appreciate.
I learn a lot in that. Yeah,
definitely. Do you have time for 3 more questions, or are you on the run?
Yeah, no, few more. That's good.
Because I wanted to quickly talk about the 2.8 podcast, and before I do that, maybe let's get the chat. If anybody has a question now for Roy, just post it, and we will hopefully get it answered. And until they post, 2 Apes. I think I joined like the first couple episodes. I saw someone, I don't know, on Twitter or somebody sharing it, and it's just I drive a whole lot in my life, so I spend a lot of time in the car. And since you guys doing now 3-hour-long episodes,
couldn't believe that actually.
No, I loved it. Yeah. It's great. I listened to all of them, like from episode 5 on or so. It's exciting. I have to admit I did some bias based on what I learned in there. I hope they will turn out well. But I mean, you have so much on your plate already. What did you and Jamie? Obviously, you are good friends. As I also learned on the pod. I mean, you know each other for years, decades, even. What inspired you to like make yourself even more work with the pod, right? I mean, he lives still in the US, right? I think
he does live in the US, yeah.
So it's even more work for you guys. What's the inspiration?
A little bit more work. I guess when we started it, both of us had way less on our plates. Like the first, I think it was like early June, maybe we had the idea for the podcast. So a long time ago, before perhaps I was even doing my daily Twitter stats, or maybe I was just starting out with them. He had been talking about wanting to do a podcast for probably 10 years. He loves listening to podcasts. I love listening to them too, but he listens to them all the time. And he is a big history fan. He wanted to do a history podcast or this or that or the other. And like every now and then I was like, yeah, I mean, podcast sounds fun. Maybe I could do one as well. What could we do? But we didn't really have a good idea. He didn't have a good idea or a great idea. And then when NFTs came along and all that, we're like, we love talking about NFTs. There aren't too many great NFT podcasts. We could just get on and talk, and then we have a little bit of experience, but it was mostly just we'll have fun. We'll call it 2 Apes because we bought our apes like a few weeks prior, and that's how it started. And then it took from when we had the idea, like we got really ahead of ourselves, and we're like, I think it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and we're like, should we? All right, let's get episode 1 out on the following Monday. Is that? Let's try for that. And I think it was about 2 months later or 6 weeks. Between getting the music for the theme song made, the logo.
Man. Don't get me started. It's like
it's
the best and the worst. Yeah,
it's stuck in so many people's heads. Mine too.
Yeah, I come home every now and then, like coming home to my my fiance, like 2 more days. It's kind of funny. Sorry, I
It's really
interrupted.
cool. No, it's fine. It's yeah, a lot of people say that the song gets stuck in their head, which is it's funny.
Great.
Yeah, it gets stuck in our head too. But yeah, we did that, and then we had to find an audio engineer, and then like we originally like we could do it ourselves, and we're like we have no idea what we're doing. We shouldn't do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we recorded like 7 episode 1s, just practice, and oh, we made a mistake there, we forgot to record there, our mic settings were bad and all that. And then yeah, you know, now it's got to the point where it doesn't take that long. Like the length of the podcast, it probably takes an extra half an hour to an hour per week in work total. Like so we'll sit down, we'll record the segments, we'll spend a little bit of time beforehand creating the plan, we will spend a little bit of time afterwards putting the show notes and the description together. But we basically record, send it to the audio engineer, he uploads it. And so we don't do any actual editing. It's just
what makes it fun.
Yeah,
that's what it makes
it's really
it fun.
It's really fun. Yeah,
it's natural,
like,
right? It's not like
it's not like a high production professional thing. Like if we screw up something, we don't go back and re-record. It's just basically all more or less one take. And yeah, it's just fun. It's like we have a lot of fun doing it, and so it doesn't feel like work so much. Obviously, as we've both started doing more and more things in the space, time has gotten a bit more difficult to come by. But yeah, I don't think it's like, I mean, even like 2 months ago, I had the idea to start a second podcast, one focused on art blocks, and I was like, now I'm like, no, that would be too much. So,
well, yeah, then you probably need a break soon.
But I mean, Kevin Rose, he started a second podcast, and like he must be 10 times busier than me, so it's possible.
It's definitely possible, yeah. I mean, I'm asking because we actually think about doing a pod in our space and in German, obviously, so we won't be a competition to you guys. But yeah, I mean, I don't have any experience in that. I also don't have any experience in streams, and here I sit with you. So we'll see. Maybe we get an NFT Zoo pod going, and it's definitely fun to hear that it's actually fun. Which
it is fun. Yeah,
it's all about, right?
Yeah.
So is there a bigger plan for the future, or is there a roadmap? You have something big planned, or
for the podcast?
Yeah, for the podcast, or just
we're mostly just going with the flow. We have a couple of two board German names. We have a couple of ideas of things that we'd like to do eventually. Like we want to have some sort of NFT. We have no idea what it will be or how it will be, but it's like we're doing a podcast on NFTs. We should have an NFT for the podcast. We don't know what it's going to be, so that's the extent of that. And then like merch, I think that would be cool to have some Two Bored Apes merch.
Definitely, yeah.
And also some Zenacademy merch I want to do. So I have some samples being sent
nice.
Hopefully in the next week or two to test, just to have a look at what the merch quality is like, and then maybe we can get those up, and then maybe we'll have guests on at some point. But for the most part, it's at the moment just we'll record once a week and then keep growing the audience and then take it from there.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it. It entertains me on my long drives for sure.
I was so shocked with the length of the most recent episode at almost 3 hours, because I'm the one in charge of like recording, like clicking record button and saving the files and sending them. And I usually have a good idea because I can say, oh, that segment was 40 minutes, that one was 20 minutes. And I sent it all to the audio engineer, and then he uploaded it. And it wasn't until I actually went to listen to it myself on Google's podcast on my phone, I saw 2 hours 52 minutes, I think it was, and I was like, whoa. Like in my mind it's like maybe it was 2 hours, like as usual or whatever. But
I bet,
yeah,
I mean, what is nice that you like, you say in the beginning what you talk about, and then you basically can get an idea. And sometimes I'm not involved in art blocks so much, then I basically skip the art blocks part. So
yeah, we got the timestamps and stuff now, so
yeah, exactly, that makes it much more easier for people to follow. Awesome. I have one question here on the chat. What utility should good NFTs have to succeed long term? Oh boy, that's a deep question, I think. Answer quickly. Do you want to try?
I mean, there are so many things that encompass utility that it could have. I think it's like if it's a gaming NFT, then obviously the game is the utility. If it's a membership, if it's airdrops, if it's access token, there's just so many ways that you can bake utility into the NFT. That I think that there's like 100 different types of utility that a good NFT can have and succeed. And I mean, you can have NFTs that have zero utility and they can succeed as well. So it's not like a thing where you need to have utility to make them succeed. But if you're trying to sell a utility NFT, then you should be tell people what the utility is, and it should be just something that people want. Like, don't just try and bake utility in it just for the sake of utility. So if a project has a standard roadmap and like the utility is just like a copy paste of every other project, companion drop, merch, whatever, private Discord, whitelists, and just basic stuff, and there's nothing like that really stands out and is special, less likely to succeed. But if the utility is something unique, like maybe you get access to a special data analysis tool that's not available elsewhere, or maybe you get like a private Discord. Like my token's a utility token basically, and that's the only way to get into Zenacademy now. Which if it's like this educational resource that people find valuable, or stuff like that. I think.
I mean, that's
find something unique. Yeah,
quite a good answer, I think. I think it's a good point that you say you don't have to like force utility into something. It should be something people really want or even need, maybe. One quick one: are you still planning to do YouTube?
Yes. So similar to the podcast story, I recorded a few episodes, and for one reason or another, they just haven't gone well. The most recent one, I was really happy with. I recorded a few days ago. I was making a video on how to cancel transactions in MetaMask by like sending yourself a 0 ETH transaction to replace the nonce, and just using that method, because some people were asking about it. And I again took about 20 takes because I just kept restarting. I kept fumbling my words. And then I did one. I was like, great, this is done. I sent it to Tom, my Zentern, who's going to do the editing for all that. And then he was like, you didn't record the MetaMask pop-up window. So all of us, So I will try again. It's a work in progress. I'm definitely still planning to do YouTube. Yeah.
So it's like a tutorial based YouTube channel.
It's going to be everything. It's going to have some tutorials and guides, and it's going to have, maybe I'll do like my daily stats updates, but just go through that on YouTube. Maybe I'll do Q&A, if people ask. Maybe there's lots of things I can do. I think I'll have different series probably on there, but yeah.
Awesome. I think last one. Okay. I know.
Right.
I already
no problem.
So much of your time that I promised you. Where do you see future of NFT besides art, metaverse, music, art, JPEGs? Can you imagine usage for government or sport clubs?
Yes, I can actually. I think, like with NFTs, you can incorporate it with whether it's government or medicine or whatever industry where data is really important and data security is really important, and people want ownership over their data in a way that doesn't really exist at the moment. Like if you sign up for a website, you have to read through extensive terms and conditions. They have access to track your data, and like it's a huge thing in Germany, especially. I know it's a big deal here, but everywhere in the world, like in everywhere, people care about it to varying degrees. And currently, it's like, do you just trust the company? Like they have their policy. Do you trust to give them your data? What level do you give it to them? With NFTs, it can be, and it will be, I think, set up in a way where you will have complete ownership over it, and then you'll give access to them, which you can then revoke at any single point in time. And basically you can say, all right, I'll give you access to, these points of data because you need it for the app. You need my location while I'm using the app. Okay, you can have that. And then when it's done, you can just cancel it because it's an NFT. You can change a metadata thing or just delete the NFT or whatever. Just unsign out of the account. And then they won't have access to your data anymore in a way that, because all the data will be in your control, it'll be stored on your end, in a way that currently they access it and they store it all on their databases and stuff like that. But with smart contracts, I believe there'll be a way where they can look at your data and read it, but not store it potentially. So I definitely think we're going to get NFTs involved with government and data and tech. And I actually have a meeting later this week with a company. They're doing genetic sequencing. So they've been doing it for a long time, where if you want to get your genome sequenced, you can pay them a few $100s. And then companies, for research purposes, will pay you to use your genome. And again, like they're now wanting to do it in a way where they use it via NFTs, where you pay and you get an NFT which has your genome sequence in it, and then you can give access to that to companies. They'll pay you to use your genes if they want to use it for research purposes. If not, you can just have your genome sequenced and you can do your own reading into it and find out, whatever you want about your genes, but you'll have access to it. So I think in the coming years, we're going to see more stuff like that.
Yeah, I think we already do see like a little bit of the outside world to begin to our world.
Yeah.
That's exciting stuff. Definitely. Awesome, man. I think I have to put you on the spot. I promised the guys.
Yeah.
We have a German NFT meeting next weekend in Bamberg. I have to invite you. You don't have to answer now.
Yeah.
Just think about it. I could even pick you up if you want in Munich, because I'm also driving from like the southern part. If you want to have like 25 guys go to a basketball game and spend some time. So if you want
let me think about it. Probably not. I will have to say probably not. I'm crazy busy at the moment, but I appreciate the offer.
I totally understand. I promised the guys I ask you on the stream. So
no, of course.
That's what I did here. Awesome. Roy, I thank you so much, man. It's been an hour. It's crazy, right? I mean,
yeah, time flies. Yeah,
time flies incredible fast. Thank you so much for your time. I highly appreciate it. I think it was very nice insights. If you're okay, I would publish that next on YouTube.
Of course.
Tomorrow. Yeah. Because I know that a few people missed it. And yeah, I mean, other than that, I wish you all the best with your project. We definitely keep following.
Thank you. Were you aware that there's the German chat in the Discord now? In the Zenacademy? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was like, I'm sure people in there would like it as well. We can post the link there.
Probably all of us, like all of the
that's fair.
It's probably it's crazy how few people actually are in this space in Germany still. So we feel like we group together.
What's also crazy? Well. How many Australians are in NFTs? It's like every third person I talk to is from Australia, and it's like the country size is so small, but there's so many Australians in NFTs. It's awesome, but surprising.
It's nice, yeah. So it's
nice.
Definitely getting more.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it.
Awesome.
I wish you an exciting working night then.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon, hopefully. And let's see.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. All right. Well, that's it. I mean, that was quite awesome. Like I expected it to be. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I mean, that's basically the stream for today. I keep it at an hour usually. We'll see. Next week we have a break since we are on our NFT meeting. Without Roy probably, which is totally understandable. And then there will be another stream in 2 weeks. We'll see. I hope to get a German guest in here for all the German speaking, but I also would love it if some of the English speaking guys tune in now and then. We will have some more English guests, and we will have also more exciting guests. Since Roy was now, it's hard to top him, but we'll see. Thanks so much. Have a great night, everybody. Stay safe, and I see you on Friday. Actually, I see most of you on Friday. A lot of you. So excited to be in Bamberg. Have a great rest of the week. Peace.